Hey everybody, I get asked all the time, what are your favorite pieces of gear? What should I know? What should I have? I don't have anything, where do I start? Well, today I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite little kits. It's a really inexpensive but fairly complete kit that you can get and add to either your kits, or it's a good starting off point. So stay tuned to the episode and we'll go through it. Hey everybody, welcome to Cascadia Dispatch. This week I'm Casey, and today I want to show you one of my favorite little pieces of gear that I've come across over the last couple of years. It is the Survival Medic Kit from S.O.L, Survive Outdoors Longer. They're a little branch of Adventure Medical Kits. They make a variety of first aid kits and little survival kit setups that are super useful. Relatively inexpensive. This will run anywhere from, I think it retails for about $15. You can find it on Amazon or Cabela's or Target or Walmart or Fred Meyer, just about anywhere. Usually there's some sort of a sale. You can usually get it for about $13. I've found them on camping clearouts and closeouts and things for 40%, 50% off. And usually when I find them on sale, I'll stock up. I'll buy 5 or 6 of them and I'll put them everywhere, or I'll give them to people who have been asking me about them as gifts or something like that. They are super small. This is about the same size as my phone. So you can see, I mean, this is not a go bag. This is not an EDC bag. This is not the 5-day survival kit that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. This is really meant to be if you don't have anything, to give you kind of an initial little grouping of gear. If you don't have the ability to have a full bag, this is something to supplement or augment an existing bag. So like I said, I keep this in my bags along with all of my other gear that I may have in an EDC or I may have in a get home bag. This is kind of a backup for that. But when I was first getting started, this was something that I kind of put everywhere as a solid base layer, so I at least felt like I had something. So what I want to do is open it up. We'll go through what's inside of it, show you what's in there, and go from there. So stay tuned. Alright, so let's go through and open up the kit, see what's in it, and go from there. So one of the first things is it's sealed to start with, and then when you open it up, there is actually a kind of Ziploc type seal inside. So this will stay waterproof both when you open it and when it's not opened. So everything inside of it is going to be really secure, and it's not going to get spoiled or rot or moldy or anything like that. One of the first things that's in here is duct tape. Everybody loves duct tape. You can make all kinds of things out of duct tape. I mean, you can use this to secure items. You can use it to patch items. I've seen people make wallets and dresses, and there's blogs associated with duct tape. We all love duct tape. I mean, if we're watching this video, you love duct tape. So there's a pretty decent sized roll of duct tape. This is not meant to necessarily make one of those big projects, but it's enough to patch something or lash something if you need it as you're going from point A to point B. If you're going from downtown to home and your pants rip or your shirt tears or your coat tears or something, this will be enough to repair that and maybe get a bundle of tinder or something. I don't know, whatever you would want to use it for, but there's at least some of that there. Alright, next up is fire starting. So what's really cool about this kit is it has a non-liquid based fire starting kit included in it. So the first part of that, and I'll open it up, everything actually comes in little individually sealed bags, which is also wonderful because if the big bag were to be punctured or ripped and water were to get in it, all of the contents of the inside of the bag is going to stay dry, which is awesome. So the first thing is it comes with this little sparker. So for those of us who remember the kind of Matchbox cars and things where there was a little plastic stick that would go inside and you would pull it out and the car would spark as the engine would go. So same idea with this. You're going to kind of run it along and it's going to spark as you move it along. And what it's going to spark onto are these little cotton tinder braids that they have. And this is something that S.O.L and Adventure Medical kits you can buy them individually, but they include some in the kit. So you have 4 of these, which will allow you to start a fire without requiring the use of gasoline or butane or kerosene or something like that, which would potentially leak in a bag or leak in a car or something like that. This is going to stay dry, it's not going to affect any of your other gear, and it's going to allow you to start a fire if you needed to. Again, like I said, this kit is not a go bag. This is not going to sustain you for 3 days or 5 days or a week or 2 weeks. This is, to sustain you for maybe 24 hours while you're getting somewhere, or 12 hours if you're in really bad conditions. It doesn't have any food, it doesn't have any water, it doesn't have a multi-tool, it doesn't have some of the things that you might want to have in a go bag, but what it does have is pretty significant for the size package that it is. Alright, so the next thing that's in here that is pretty cool, and it's wedged in here, is survival blanket. So a lot of times you'll see the Mylar blankets that people get wrapped around them at marathons. This is the same idea. It's a little bit bigger. It's got orange on one side and it's got the silver on the other, so you could use it for signaling if you wanted to. You might be able to turn this into some sort of a shelter, possibly like a little A-frame sort of a thing with a tree maybe, or you could, I don't think you could really turn it into a tent. But it would at least maybe keep you dry. You could maybe cut a hole in the top and turn it into like a poncho if you needed to. But really it's to keep you warm and mostly dry. That is super helpful. I actually have a separate emergency blanket that I keep in my laptop bag that's a little bit bigger. It's kind of designed to go around 2 people, so if I'm with a kid or if I'm with my wife or something, we have something that would be bigger. But this, I also keep one of these kits in my bag, so I actually have 2 blankets in my bag. But this is a solid choice, and it's a lot, seems like the material is a lot sturdier and more durable than kind of the cheaper Mylar blankets that maybe you get on Amazon in a big bulk pack. So this is going to be a good addition to your kit. So speaking of signaling, another thing that this kit has is a whistle. Everybody loves whistles. So this is kind of a plastic bright orange whistle. You would use this for signaling to alert people that you needed help. What's nice about it is it's bright orange. So while it's maybe not the most obvious signal, if you were wearing it against, black clothing or white clothing or anything other than orange clothing, someone might actually see this in the woods and be able to spot you. These are super loud, even though it's super thin. It's about as thin as my phone. It's actually thinner than my phone. But it makes a really loud noise. And it doesn't have the little ball thing rattling around, so you're not going to hear this thing rattling when it's not out. So it's a great addition to the kit. Alright, so the next thing we're going to go through is first aid. So like I've said, Adventure Medical Kits, it is called the Survival Medic Kit. This is not a trauma kit, this is not a full first aid kit, but it does have some band-aids. It's got a couple of finger band-aid and a couple of kind of your standard little oblong band-aids, which is helpful. It's got some antiseptic towels, so you can use this to clean cuts and make sure you don't have any dirt or bacteria or anything yucky in there, and an antibiotic ointment. So this will take care of a really solid cut or scrape. Of course, it's not going to help you if you need stitches or something like that, but it'll at least have you covered until you can get to a bigger first aid kit. There's also some Advil or some ibuprofen in here, which is helpful. So if you've got a headache or pain associated with whatever you needed the Band-Aids for, you at least have something to go off of. In most of my bags, I have a separate medication bag. I have a separate first aid kind of bandage kit area, and we'll go through those in a different video. But this is, at least gives you something to get to your next kit. Also, one of the cool things that this kit has is these instructions, which are not necessarily instructions for the kit, but they're just kind of general survival-y sort of life-saving, they call it life-saving tools and techniques. But they're just things if you were out in a disaster or an emergency and you were trying to get somewhere and you maybe had no training or you didn't know a whole lot. This at least has some general things you can read and maybe learn a couple of things as you're on the go. I would not recommend relying on this as your main source of knowledge. You always want to be more prepared than that. But it is nice that they at least include it. And worst case scenario is if you are in the process of walking home and you need a moment to rest, you at least have something to read. We will look at the last two things in the kit are safety pin, which these are always super useful because you can attach things to other things with them. Because it's a safety pin, you're not going to poke yourself, or you're not going to poke other things like gear or other plastic kits. You're not going to put a hole in this with the safety pin and make it not waterproof. So really helpful thing to have. The other thing is a little bubble compass. So this is going to help you if you're trying to figure out and orient yourself to maybe where your house is or where an evacuation location is. This is not obviously a big compass that's maybe going to be the most accurate. This will give you a general idea of where you need to go. And I think for a lot of us who rely on GPS and rely on Google Maps and Apple Maps and Waze and everything else, in an emergency, if cell towers go down, we're not going to have access to all of the features of those apps. I actually have some apps that run on my phone that are map related, that don't require GPS necessarily or don't require a cell service, and we'll go through those in another video. I'm not sure if you're catching the theme here, but there will be more videos and we will go through more things. So subscribe. You might want to know these. But, you know, I think for a lot of us, at least having a general idea of where we're going, we may know that we are, you know, due north of our house is due north of our office or something like that. So this will at least help orient you. And during a disaster, there's going to be a lot of things going on. So having a general bearing on where you're going with something like a compass is going to be really helpful. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for sticking around and watching it with us. Going through the Survival Medic emergency kit. Like I've said a bunch of times, this is not a go bag. Don't for a second think that it's a go bag. Don't comment. It's not a go bag. It's not a go bag. But what it is it's a good collection of supplies that will either be a great thing if you don't have anything, or it'll be a good supplemental backup if you have a lot of things. As we go through other kits that I have, I'll show you my laptop bags and some of my go bags and things like that. You know, I have a lot more gear that I keep in those bags that are, you know, maybe more durable or larger quantities, obviously more than 2 Band-Aids and a first aid kit. But if I don't have those, if I'm somewhere where I can't have a 72-hour pack because, you know, who goes to, you know, a play and brings a 72-hour kit with them? It's not a thing. This is something that I can have in my wife's purse, and if we needed something, we at least have some amount of supplies. So, if you like this video, or if you didn't like this video, pretend you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when we're putting out more videos. I'm thinking this weekly cadence is going to work out for us, so we'll try to get more videos out every week. Who knows, there may be surprise videos. That's what the notification button is for, right? So go ahead, click on the button. Thanks again for joining us. Comment below if you've got something to add. We're trying out to do camera setup, so let me know if it's better than the previous videos, which maybe had a little bit of an up and down motion to them, which we didn't plan. So hopefully it's a little bit better. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.